So news been coming out about different scenarios, talking about Canelo Alvarez and the whole Jake Paul situation. Definitely is taking headlines right now, but um they asked Robert Garcia recently about Canelo Alvarez and just the whole legacy with him being Mexican and everything else, and how does he feel? They asked him first, who does he think the greatest Mexican fighter is of all time? And he said, Chavez Sr., he doesn't think that'll change uh ever. With the things that Chavez Sr. did in boxing, any boxer wants to do, not just Mexican. Uh the legacy he put on and type of fights he put on, first of all. Like, I try to tell a lot of fans that now, just off the guys that Chavez fought over the years, if you just line his resume up, I don't care if it was 50 years ago, 100 years ago, if you line his resume up next to anybody, it's gonna be hard to kind of hold another fighter up next to him, especially a Mexican fighter, and try to say that someone's the greatest fighter in Mexican history. And you got a guy like Chavez Sr. walking around who's fought a lot of tough competition. Not only did he fight a lot of fights, he fought tough competition, like very tough, all time tough. And a lot of people look at that and they say, well, Chavez was in a lot of wars. He was in a lot of tough fights where the styles did not favor him, but he was still in those fights. And a lot of guys that pick and choose and do a lot of different things, it hurts them in the long run. It hurts them very badly, especially when you try to line your resume up next to Chavez, and got a lot of fans saying, well, who does Garcia thinks the best Mexican fighter of all time? That's an easy answer because nobody's trying to do what Chavez has done. It's not really anything to talk about. And that's why the sport of boxing right now is in a state where you're trying to figure out who's the next guy, who's the toughest Mexican fighter right now, who's going to take over and have that reign. Looks like it's a couple of guys who can do it. It's going to be not just one person. It's too much talent for just one person to try to take over. But it's going to be a couple of guys that will be able to fill that role in. But it's happening very fast. But as far as the greatest of all time and things like that, yeah, I gotta agree with Robert Garcia on that situation. As far as nobody can really pass Chavez right now and what he's done in boxing. It's just not possible, especially with the way these guys are moving now. They're not really moving in boxing the same like they used to. It's not even the same, so it's hard to even judge it that way. When you have certain fighters not really fighting the best competition. You just don't. So to have the best Mexican fighter of all time, yeah. Until that start happening, yeah, Chavez is gonna fill that role for a long time. I think they can stop asking that question as far as who the people think, or did that change? I don't think fighting Munguia and Berlanga and John Rodgers and Charlo is going to change that for a lot of people. It's just not. They're not seat fillers like that. We already seen that recently. People try to compare the star power to, well, Canelo, he's doing better than these other guys who's boxing. Yeah, but look at the things that's going on now in boxing. That's star power. If Chavez was in his prime right now, man, he'll be doing crazy numbers right now. So it's really not even a big deal to even talk about something like that. That comes with the whole being the face of Mexican boxing. But taking it to the next level, that's when it gets hard. But Chavez and Garcia felt like Canelo needs to be in another war, though, for him to be considered one of the greatest or the greatest. They said, man, and that's low expectations. That's that's low expectations. They like, man, he just need another war. Benavidez or something. That's low expectations. They telling you, hey, one more fight, you do that. Hey, they didn't even say he gotta win it. They just said take the fight. That's very low expectations. And for them to say, hey, all he gotta do is win, take the fight, and he can be considered the greatest or one of the greatest. I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to change people's mind on that, but it is what it is.